Guys, replacement episodes of Stories of Island will come. Of the island. I decided to head out on my afternoon train up to Farker, with Annie and Clarabelle as usual. I like to head up to Farker. I like to head up to Farker, as usual. As I was heading up to Farker, go, go. As I was heading up to Farker, girl, 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 I overheard Gordon. I overheard Gordon talking to the fact controller about something. But sir, but sir, as I left there, I got my driver, Pat. Pat, what do you think Gordon was talking to his driver about? Who knows, Thomas? Who knows? Who knows? You're honestly giving me that answer? You asked for a free answer, my driver replied back. And I gave you one. But why would they be talking to the Fat Controller like that? Gordon? Unless it involves freight, he only talked to the Fat Controller or if there's freight involved. And I don't think there is freight involved with whatever they're up to in the with the mainline crew. But the Fat Control but the Fat Controller but the Fat Controller but the Fat Controller But the Fat Controller must have been mad at him. That's the only thing I can think of why the Fat Controller would be at him and Chef's instead of his office. Instead of at his office like normal. But the Fat Controller must have been really mad with him in order to get the Fat Controller. But the Fat Controller must be really mad at him. Annie, Clarabelle, what do you think about what it? As Annie replied back, Thomas, we've been hearing all about it. Have we, Annie? Indeed we have, Clarabelle, and we're sick and tired of it. So, get on to something else. Dell, I said, okay. I said, okay. I'm gonna have Harold the helicopter where he sends of something. But then again, Bryoff is on my schedule stops, but not today. The Fat Control. I wonder what the Fat Controller was up to that Gordon was ejecting to. Probably something to do with good frames, if I'm being honest. Because the And yes, Toy Rack is a thrill station as per the books. As per and that line, the station of Toy Rack was actually closed in the Beaching Cuts video, even though I didn't mention in that episode. I meant to say that the entirety of the toy, there are only 2 stations on toy. The Fat Controller. Guys, FYI, I've been watching the UK dub of the show for a while, so I've been going to use the word Fat Controller more so than through Topham Hatt. And yes, I will create past scenes on this map if I have some sort of flashback. The Fat Control. I wonder what the Fat Controller was up to. Just as I was trying to beat out the time between Ellsbridge. As I stopped to fill up my water tanks, and I heard as I set off again. One time my driver went fishing here. One time my driver went fishing there. One time. Remember that, Pat? Oh, right, Pat. I was bro by Mr. Perkington back then. I would drive by Mr. Perkins. So he went fishing and he put the... He basically went fishing there. Ah, the cricket field. Looked like no cricket being played today. What a shame. What's a shame, Annie, that no cricket... Don't forget this, station, said Annie. It's been closed by Dr. Beechin. I never forget Beechin closed stations. Yes, this is going to be the plot that we're. The old watermill. Hey, Taryn. And also, this is the chronicle debut of another character that never appeared until now. Even though hey, Terrence. Hi, Thomas. What are you up to today? I'm pretty sad, Thomas. Why? My driver died last month and my driver died last month, so my driver died last month. And in this field I work in, my owner died last month, so they're foreclosing on my what's going to happen to you? You're a part of the fire and rescue brigade. I know, Thomas. I just wish I was an engine like you. You. Speaking of which, I have to get going. Sorry, run. I feel sorry for you, Terrence. If there's something I can do, just name it. If we never see each other again, Thomas, good knowing you. As I slowly puffed out, as I wanted to chuff really slow to, as once I was beyond his field, I was able, as I just couldn't think straight. As I just couldn't think straight. I thought of some guys I knew, Mrs. Kindly. As I would pass the Mrs. Kindly cottage, she had no use for Terrence the traction engine. As I continued to think about it, to Farquhar about what to do to Terrence. As I continued to think about what I should do to help out Terrence, I came up with several options of mine. Like I said, Ask the Fat Controller will be number one. Ask the Fat Controller, number one. Number two, as an idea flew into my funnel. But I was here anyway, at Farquhar Station. I was so deep in thought that I didn't know that the guard Larry blew his whistle and waved a green flag that it was time for me to go. As I was still thinking about it, as I backed down to go use the turntable and turn myself around. As I was still thinking what to do. But then I remembered that Farmer McCall needs an engine like Trevor to help out with his farm. I was still thinking about it as I was turned around and then put back down. As I was put as I was turned around and then went as I went back down to nap to add the fat controller. Like, as I I didn't want to really tell the fact. I at the I had to be stopped for a signal as I saw it, and I asked Karen. I as Karen's asked me if there was anything I could do again. Again, as I replied, as I as I replied back, yes, I'm going to go talk to the Fat Controller or Farm McCall because the fact of I don't think the fact. Hey, you're saying the Fat Controller might need me? He might, but then don't get your hopes up on the Fat Controller though. But the second guy, get your hopes up. His name is Farmer McCall. And a farmer would need a traction engine. I'm gonna go at the I'm gonna go at the station master to telephone those two right now. To telephone those two right now. I'm gonna. As I was wondering how I can help Terrence again, but then I realized that the Fat Controller probably won't. I'm actually going to remake the intro and Farmer Cole was standing right as I decide to ask my driver to reverse me to talk to Farmer McCool. As I ask, hey, Farmer McCool, what, Thomas? I have a quick question. Do you need a traction engine for your farm? But yes, I actually do. Why? Because my good friend Terrence the traction engine, Jen, I will buy him immediately. Hey, get your home. Thanks, Farmer McCool. Who else were you gonna ask? The Fat Controller. But how did he come up for sale, Thomas? As I told him all the rest when I was passing by. Later I found out that Farmer McCool, be it the Fat Controller, be it himself, Terrence, he didn't de-purchase him. That Farmer McCool did. So the Fat Controller might not. And when Farmer McCool asked the Fat Controller if we would like to help him purchase it, Terrence, because he simply didn't have enough pounds, because he topped over 58 pounds, and he only had 25 to 28 pounds. The Fat Controller said, in these words to him over the phone, I could pay for it. Let me write you a check for 58 pounds. As he wrote, yes, Thursdays are, just in case I missed the week of Ireland, Thursdays will be, like I said, just in case I missed the episode, because Roblox was being weird, I promise if that happens, I will redo them on Thursday. And can't you hear the music in the background? Yes, I'm watching the... As I was still thinking about Trevor, I lost. As I was still thinking about Trevor, I asked Harold if the Soul Search and Rat routine was a thing. as I decided to stop by Bryron, the airfield station on my branch. And I heralded this whole solar retinue team was a real thing, or was it just something I heard about? As Harold replied back to me, Thomas, yes it is. Why? Well, because I thought members of the search and rescue team could not be sold. If their owner dies, don't they have a place as the solar search and rescue team? As I was shocked to hear, it was out a no. No. As I said, okay, so that's kind of interesting. That kind of interesting. Isn't it? That kind of interesting, don't you think? Don't you think? I know, Thomas, but I know, Thomas. But there is a logical reason behind that. As I said, what do you mean has something to do with the E factor? What that factor? Has something to do with the. It's a whole gobbledygook. I will explain it next time. Later, Thomas. And I was so happy to hear. I forgot I mentioned all of this to Birdie. As I was still thinking about what Harold said. On one hand, one part didn't make some sense to me in my smoke box. But one part didn't make all sense to me in my smoke box. If you already have an owner, shouldn't you already have a place at the search and rescue center? As I dropped off my passengers. If you already have a home in the Solar Search and Rescue Center, shouldn't you have if you already have that, shouldn't you be able to stay at the Search and Rescue Center, or do you really need another owner? There, I'll have Carol later today. As I popped out with Annie and Clarabelle to turn myself around and do all of this all over again.